This is LMU I'm Scott Erlin, here with first-year women's basketball coach Krystal Evans, and we're going to preview the upcoming season. Coach, let's get right to it. You bring back a large portion of last year's roster that accounted for the most wins in the program since 2003-04 season, and then the highest league finish since we joined the league in 06. Talk about what you've seen from this team in the few months you've had with them.
Well, Roger Hodge did an excellent job putting the pieces together, and we've got some great returners with Asia Lee returning, formerly known as Roan. She got married. And then Samantha Satterlee coming back, and then also having Katrina Otteson. They're just great returners as far as seniors go, also with Ashley Pritchett returning as well. And then, he added Megan Pittman, transfer from Coastal, who I'm very excited about. And he also added Ross Mathis and Shay Coker as incoming freshmen. And he got a transfer, Kiara Rawls and Brianna Hall, one from Walter State, one from Lewisburg, and they're both excellent players as well. So the pieces were really, laid for me. I mean, he did a great job laying down that foundation, and the only piece that I was able to add was Stephanie. And obviously I'm very excited about her. So I just think that, he right there, the team that was already put together, or kind of the hand that I was dealt when taking a job, was a very talented team, and what a blessing it is to, be offered this position. Because they had shooters, they had inside presence, they had quickness, they had guards that can get out and defend. I mean, they had everything there, and the only thing I brought was just a little piece of inside presence, which I'm hoping does a great job. So we'll see what kind of impact she makes.
Okay, and you'd already mentioned Asia Lee, but you got to mention her again. You bring back her. She was all-SAC first team last year, 15.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2.4 steals per game. Did a little bit of everything, filled out the stat sheet. How important is it to have a proven and experienced player like her back?
It's very important, and not just things that show up in the stats, but she's also just an all-around great player. She really gets after it. She's 100% all the time. She's going to be the one that's diving on the floor for the ball. She's going to be the one that's very tenacious on the ball defender. So there's a lot of things. Yes, she showed up all over the stats, but there's so many things that she does that doesn't show up in the stats that are very vital to this team. So having her back is a big asset, and the fact that I really like to be aggressive on defense, she fits right perfectly into that scheme.
Okay, and let's keep our focus on the backcourt. And it looks like a strength of this team will be probably perimeter shooting. We talk about just a few of the names. You already ran through a few of them, but let's run through them again. Katrina Otteson, 48 three-pointers last year. Samantha Satterlee, 24. Kiara Rawls hit 47 last year at Lewisburg College. And then Megan Pittman, a proven shooter in prep career and at Coastal Carolina. Do you see outside shooting as a strength of this team?
I do. And some of the ones that you haven't mentioned is Sydney Anderson is a great shooter. Shay Coker is a great shooter. Ross is a great shooter. We really don't have a person on the team that can't knock down the threes. Stephanie even tries to shoot threes. Now, I don't say that she can, but she definitely makes the attempt to do so. So, we've been very blessed in that area as well. And they can really light it up. And I think that, having Lakeisha Beasley and Josie and Stephanie inside and having that presence will open them up for outside shots even that much more, which is, a big part of our game plan.
Well, and you beat me to my next question. Another thing, when you look at the roster, it's going to be. It seems like in this conference we're going to have a huge size advantage. 3 girls listed at over 6 foot, so at almost all times you're going to have a girl over 6 foot on the court. And first and foremost, Stephanie Smith, MTSU transfer, among the tallest players, in program history. Just talk about the impact the forward group as a whole can have, and especially Smith.
Well, the 4 as a whole, we'll talk about first. They all bring a power presence. These are not finesse players. They're not, wimpy. Not that finesse players are wimpy, but just they definitely look to initiate contact, and they don't avoid it. And that's something that's always going to make teams have to collapse, defense collapse down on the paint when you have that type of presence inside. Now, something that Stephanie brings to the table, Stephanie is a 6'5" post player that can run the floor. And that's hard to come by. I mean, you can get height and you can get that presence and that sort of thing, but a lot of times they're not very mobile when you get somebody that's 6'5", 6'6", etc. And when you can find somebody that's mobile and athletic and they can get up and down the floor, then you have found a rare find. And that's something that she brings to the table. And it's going to be something that's going to be very useful to our program.
And then over the past few seasons, the Lady Railsplitters' philosophy has kind of been characterized by maybe a slower, more methodical, more structured offensive system with a more tough, gritty half-court defense designed to force opponents, obviously, into lower field goal percentages. How might your system and approach differ itself from that approach and also be similar in ways?
Well, obviously, I want to be structured as far as we're going to be under control in our breaks, but I do want to bring a little bit more of a up-tempo type style game here at Lincoln Memorial. I really look to push the ball. I mean, I want to score 80-plus points, and I want to get out, and if we don't have the break, then we'll set up the play. And, they can have the green light to shoot, and I don't really gear on any certain player as far as like, oh, she's the go-to player and this and that. I'm more, look, if you're open and you got a good shot, take it. Everybody on this court can score. I know a lot of coaches don't do that. They don't allow their team to have that much freedom. But I've always known, that style to be helpful because you don't want players to play tight. You don't want them to play scared. I can always pull the team back. It's hard to kind of push them and get them kick-started. But once the team's, running and say they're in a like run and gun type of play, I can always slow them back down. But it's hard to teach a team to be structured and slow down and then try to speed them up. So that's kind of, I'm trying to speed this team up. And, if there's a situation where we're in games and we're turning the ball over, we're looking sloppy, then I'll tell them, okay, walk the ball up. Let's get a good shot. Let's work the offense in and be a little bit more structured. So, and they have had that. Coach Hodge did a great job. He was very structured. I guess, and I don't want to say chaotic, but I am bringing another element where they're just a little bit more free and they can have the advantage to make their own reads and really look to attack the basket. So hopefully they're getting that down. It is difficult to take a team that's structured and then allow them to have freedom in offense, and that's one of the challenges that we're facing because you got girls that are sitting there like, okay, I screen here, I do this, and they're kind of robotic. And I'm trying to break them down and say, okay, did you even realize that you weren't being guarded? Did you even know that your person was helping in the paint? Are you even looking for your shot? Because if you're not, then you're not in our offense. And I think that's kind of, confused them a little bit. And we're working through that right now. But it's kind of like, oh, you mean I can score? Well, if you score, that's the play. And a lot of coaches aren't like that. But, I enjoy playing that way as a player, and I enjoy coaching that style.
And last question. You open the season here this Saturday in Jefferson City against Lander. What kind of statement do you maybe hope to make in your first collegiate head coaching game?
I don't know about what statement. I want to win. But, as far as making a statement, I just want to make sure that our girls are prepared, that they're playing on the same page, they're communicating, they're really aggressive on defense, that they're pushing the ball offensively, and they're playing our style play. One thing I've definitely been working on is I want them to communicate more, and I'm hoping that that's visible against Lander. Lander's a very quick team, and it's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, they're a good team and from a great conference and all that. But I'm excited. I don't know about what statement to make other than hopefully it's a positive experience for the players and we're coming home with a W.
Well, I know we're all excited and we're all looking forward to see what happens. Krystal, we look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.
Thank you.